Safari Sarah.
And Dino Dustin with Jurassic Quest, and you're listening to
Scandal Water,
where the tea is hot and the conversation lively.
Your hosts, Candy
And Ashley
will discuss a peculiar story somehow related to the entertainment industry. This podcast might not change the world, but it just might satisfy your thirst for an intriguing tale.
Oh, it's that time of day. Tune in and hear what the ladies say. It's time to bend your ear when the silver screen appears. Stories about the stage and screen and everything in between. So come on and join the fun. The curtain opens in 3, 2, 1. Stories in Scandal Water, it's where you need to be. Stories in Scandal Water, let's pour you a cup of tea.
Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Candy.
Happy birthday week.
Happy birthday week to you too.
I'm excited that we have something special that we're going to get to share with our listeners today in honor, I guess, of our birthday week.
Yes,
maybe.
it is. We took a field trip, and it's kind of a field trip in 2 parts. When we had the topic of creators and innovators, I was trying to think of topics that we could do that were a little different, and then I saw on Facebook that Jurassic Quest was coming to town. I had been there before, several years before, with another friend of mine for a birthday celebration because they come the same time every year. And I remembered it being so both creative and innovative. And I thought, well, this would really be cool. So it was a Monday and it was coming into town that weekend. Right. And I found on their website where you could email the people, but they said they weren't in the office except for like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I thought, well, let's just give it a try. And I emailed and Greg responded to me and we chatted, and he was so friendly and kind, and he sent me the information for Safari Sarah, who he offered to let us go meet with them and interview them and talk to. I didn't really want to talk about the Louisville experience. I wanted to talk more about the overall Jurassic Quest experience. And unfortunately, you weren't able to be there with me for the interview because you had family plans.
Yes.
But we got to go back together the next day to the actual event.
Right. But meanwhile, the interview that you and Brian was with you as well.
Yes.
The interview that you had with
Safari Sarah and Dino Dustin
was fabulous.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so excited that everybody's going to get to hear that in just a
Yes.
minute. But I mean, I remember listening to it when you sent me the audio, and I was like, this is great. So
I loved how enthusiastic they were. And I am so glad that I got to talk to them and that you got to hear it before we experienced it, because it
That's right.
really altered the way that I enjoyed the experience. Because I was looking
Same for
around and I was seeing the faces of the kids and I was seeing the parents and just seeing it through their eyes. And it just heightened the enjoyment of my experience.
I agree 100%. Well, you guys may be wondering, what exactly is Jurassic Quest? So
Yes.
let me fill you in just a little bit. From their website, they list Jurassic Quest as the #1 dinosaur experience in North America. And they describe their event in this way, quote, Jurassic Quest is a self-guided experience featuring more true-to-life size dinosaurs than any other touring dinosaur event, as well as dinosaur rides and a ton of activities. We recommend planning 1 to 2 hours to experience everything at your preferred pace, because they have several activities, including you can ride a dinosaur if you're a
Small
child.
enough.
Yes.
I was very disappointed that I was too big to do that.
There are bounce houses. You can dig for fossils. You can meet baby dinos, and you can interact with some dinosaurs, either in the shows that they might have, or sometimes they might be roaming loose in
Oh
the
my
hall.
gosh, yes.
Which I recall you had that experience last time,
I
didn't
did,
you?
yes. You will hear more about it in the interview, but yes, I was very affected.
Finally, one last little note about those dinosaurs. Their world-famous dinosaurs are meticulously painted and animated to be, according to their website, realer than real. And I will tell you from being there, the scale is pretty impressive.
It is.
When you are standing there.
They are life size.
Right. And also looking at, I guess I would say, misconceptions. Like when, I pictured certain dinosaurs one way, and then I saw that they really
Didn't
some
look that
of
way?
them were not that way at all. So that was fun.
While the event that Candy and I attended was in January, we knew that this was going to come out in the last week of February. So we want to give a little promo for the places that you can attend to this in March. This is just March. So if you're across the United States and you're in one of these cities, it's coming to you. There's Colorado Springs, Colorado, Abilene, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Hartford, Connecticut, Denver, Colorado, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Conroe, Texas, Syracuse, New York, Salem, Oregon, Bristol, Tennessee, Las Vegas, Nevada, Greenville, South Carolina, Salt Lake City, Utah, Roanoke, Virginia, and Toledo, Ohio. That's just March.
Right. This is a touring
phenomenon.
Right. And they did tell us that they might become international soon, didn't they say
want
that?
to, yes. They would like to expand and become international, maybe go up into Canada, over into Great Britain eventually. It's big. It's big.
It is big. And if you're interested, just go on their website because I'm sure they'll be somewhere near you sometime soon.
Yes. So let's get to the interview because that's where all the good stuff happens. So just to set it up a little bit, the first thing that you're actually going to hear is a fun story about Jurassic Park from Dino Dustin because we were waiting. I was early, so we were kind of getting to know each other while we waited for Safari Sarah to arrive. So that's what you'll hear first. And then after that, we're going to go directly into the interview with both of them where they talk about Jurassic Quest and we have a really fun and lively conversation. And I really like both of them. They're so good at their
personable
job.
And
articulate.
Yeah.
Their joy and love for their job is just infectious. And like I said, it just made my experience at Jurassic Quest the next day even more enjoyable because I was seeing it through their eyes.
I agree 100%.
All right. Well, enjoy the interview, everybody. I am here at Jurassic Quest with Dino Dustin, and he is about to tell me his dinosaur origin story.
Yes, so my dinosaur origin story is very familiar to a lot of people, but also very different. When I was young, the Jurassic Park movie came out and premiered in theaters, and I had to be about 7 to 9 years old, somewhere in that range.
Which is way too young.
Which is probably too young, but we did it as a family event, and it was raining a lot. I grew up in New Orleans, so we were used to being outside in the elements, raining a lot, weather. We go to the movie theaters, it's raining, it's storming outside, and we start the movie. So we're in the theaters and we're looking at this movie, and so if anybody who's seen Jurassic Park knows it starts off with a storm. It's storming outside. There's workers working at the island and trying to bring these dinosaurs in shipping containers. And we haven't seen the dinosaurs yet, but we hear them and they're rustling and you can hear them banging on the containers. And it's storming and there's lightning. And meanwhile, outside of the theater is storming and it's lightning outside our own theater. So it's like 4D before 4D came out. So we're all like, oh, it's being thrilling. And again, I'm young, so I'm already nervous. I'm already nervous about what I'm about to see. As the storm goes, there's a part where a guy gets pulled in.
He's
lifted up and pulled into the shipping container by what we assume is a raptor, probably.
Right.
And at that moment, while it's raining, the lightning, the back of the movie theater falls apart.
No.
The wind is so crazy outside that the theater itself, the screen behind the screen, the wall falls off. Starts.
That's at the beginning of the movie.
That's at the beginning of the movie. I thought a literal dinosaur was attacking us. And we had to leave they had to shut the theater down, obviously, because it's not safe. So that was the first experience watching Jurassic Park. We did eventually go see it, but that was the first time.
And that was it. You were like, I'm a dinosaur man.
I was like, well, no, I was really scared of dinosaurs for when I was young, I wasn't afraid of the dark. I was afraid of dinosaurs and aliens. And now I love alien movies. I love alien movies and I love dinosaurs. And obviously, because I'm Dino Dustin now. So I turned my fear into my passions.
That's perfect. Awesome. What is your name and position with Jurassic Quest?
Well, I go by Safari Sarah, and I'm a dinosaur trainer at Jurassic Quest. But I do everything PR related, making magical moments, and really promoting the show, whether it be at hospitals, public libraries, schools, Ronald McDonald houses, and then even at our show.
And I'm Dino Dustin, and I do the exact same thing. So we've been doing this for a while, but we've worked in so many positions at the show. So when you go to Jurassic Quest, you'll see people. At one point, we had face painters. We have people that work our rides and different things like that. And we've done it pretty much all the things. Between me and Sarah, we've worked every aspect of the show.
How long have you guys been in this position?
Well, he's been here 6 months more than me. I've been here for 6.5 years, a little over. And
I just made my 7 years on January 1st.
Yep.
Yeah, New Year's Day.
Do either one of you all know the origin story of Jurassic Quest, like the company in general?
Yeah, Dustin actually knows that a little better than I do, but I will say that it was really cool coming in because it was family owned, and so we got to work with the children of the family that started it, and so you can go more into actually how it started.
Yeah, so the family, like most people, are into dinosaurs and have experiences going into museums, seeing fossils. And so they were like, wow, wouldn't it be a cool experience to see dinosaurs like as they were, so you wouldn't have to use your imagination so much? And that idea started to compile on itself and started to avalanche into the idea of Jurassic Quest as it is now. So they wanted just an event where people, families, dinosaur enthusiasts could learn about dinosaurs in a fun way, but also make core memories as a family. And
so their names are the Arnold family, and they had actually been in tours before. They had done touring things with sales and stuff, but I think like the main kicker of the dinosaur experience is that everybody loves dinosaurs. No matter what age you are, when you were a kid, you love dinosaurs. And the education was able to move in because no matter what, as you're growing up, you may see dinosaurs, you don't learn about them. And when you see them, it's in TVs, books, you don't know if it's truthful.
Right.
So the fact that they were able to bring in paleontologists to help us create these dinosaurs, make sure it's all accurate, that's something that has been missing from the dinosaur world since the beginning of dinosaur tours. And now it's been the longest consecutive running show. We're going on 10 years now.
That's great. Did they start in one spot and then tour, or did they say, no, we're touring from the get-go?
They started touring from the get-go.
Okay.
And so it's always been a touring thing. So a lot of people are like, where are y'all based out of? And we say like, oh, it's based out of Spring, Texas or Conroe, Texas. But we're like, but we're rarely
We're never
ever there.
there.
Right. So it's just a place where mail can go, you know, but this tour lives on the road.
Okay, so here's a traveling show question for both of you all. How does being in a traveling show affect your lifestyle? What are the benefits and challenges of that?
You know, I'll go
I'll
first,
let you
I
start,
guess. It's a lot. It's such a culture change, and it's not for everyone, right? And so, and I didn't think I was that type of person, but I guess I am kind of built for the touring and traveling. I feel like the benefit is like a lot of people come when they have reached a place in their life where they need to like have a break, or they need to save money for something. Or some people are running from things.
I was about to say, it's usually, and in our experience, you see that people are either running from something or running to something because where they're from, they don't have things to look forward to. And they find this, and it literally lays out a kind of path that you have a schedule, you know when you're going to eat, you know when you work, you know when you have time to do laundry. So it really gives a structure to your life that you kind of have to adhere to.
Right. And it's a great opportunity. So a lot of people see this and see like, wow, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to have a car. I don't need insurance. I don't need to pay utilities. And so the company takes care of all of that, and they pay for a lot of my meals. You really have an opportunity to save money, and that's what I did when I got there. And I was living in Los Angeles, and I was like, whoa, I need to boost up my savings. I need something to do. And I thought I was going to do it for a year, but it ended up being such a good experience.
You're at
you
7.
know, year 7, and you know, when I put down roots, I really put down roots. So.
Honestly, when I started with Jurassic Quest, I was only 18 years old. I'm from Louisiana, a really small town called New Iberia, or a parish. Whenever I found out about Jurassic Quest, I just messaged them on Facebook, and I was like, I don't even have a resume. I know I would be perfect for this. I love dinosaurs. I work well. I'm from a big family. I know teamwork. And then coming out, it was like nothing I could have ever expected. Coming into it and just the types of people you interact with, you meet personality types that you never even knew existed.
Working with them or in the people that come?
Exactly. Okay. Both, actually. Both. Definitely both. But especially with the crew that you have to work with them. You live with them. You go get groceries with them. You go do laundry with them. So there's so much give and take personally.
When you guys are in a city, how much time do you have outside of Jurassic Quest to explore the city?
Well, that's changed a lot. Yeah. So honestly, whenever we first started, my first week we were one show, and the second week we split into two shows for the first time in Jurassic Quest history. So at that point, we had a whole show that basically didn't have off days because they were learning how to do everything again on a show. But as time went on, you end up getting one day off, and then once you get stuff tight, you're loading the trucks correctly, everyone knows their position, they know how to get the loose ends gathered. We started getting 2 days off, but it's work every other minute.
Yeah, and it's also always in a perfect world or a perfect scenario. Sure. So with touring, you know that things go wrong, and so you have to be flexible because that back when we would have travel days where it was a 20-hour drive,
and it ended up being 35 with bathroom breaks.
Exactly. Oh. So it's like anything can happen.
Yeah, because you can't fly these guys. No.
Well, now we do.
You do?
Yes. Now we do. So like things have evolved as the company has grown bigger.
Did you guys get caught up in the air problem that just happened?
We almost did. But we love our job, and so I was at the airport from 5 to 7 a.m. at a help desk getting on a flight. Yes.
And we get used to traveling, so now we're pros at like flying, traveling. Like there's nothing that we can't do when it comes to travel. Dinosaurs.
Experts.
Yes.
So where did you just come from?
Well, so our positions have evolved, so we don't.
You don't travel with the
full time anymore.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
Almost.
Yeah, like
about 2 to 3 weeks per month.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I live in Los Angeles. She lives in Dallas. And so when we look at the market and what best suits our services, I guess, for lack of better words, but we'll go to a market and do their news interviews, podcasts. Like she said, we visit kids, and that's our favorite. Like when we get to spend time with kids and like schools and like
especially kids who can't come out to our show, like kids at Ronald McDonald houses, hospitals. We go to libraries in low-income areas just so like we can have a personal one-on-one experience with these kids. And
what do you take to those places?
We usually take baby dinosaurs. So I took baby Tyson, our T-Rex, last time, and there was a whole group of kids there. They were so fun. And then one kid asked if he could read a story to Tyson. So we all got to sit in a ring, and he tried his darndest and read through a whole book. It was so sweet. So those are definitely the most fulfilling moments for both of us, I think.
This is going to air after you're already in Louisville, but where does Louisville fit in your market? Is it one of your bigger cities?
I wouldn't say it's one of our biggest cities. We did a big training here.
Yeah.
And so our tenure, me and Sarah, was called upon because they're like, hey, can you guys do a presentation on customer interactions and mentoring? And so we both just told the crew we made a presentation about our knowledge on those subjects specifically in Jurassic Quest because it's such a unique touring place. I mean, there's things that will resonate with everybody who's working, but we definitely tailor-made our presentations based on the needs of the show.
I will also say that like we have normal cities that we may hit 2 or even 3 times in a year. Usually we only go back once or twice. But
I think you're in Louisville every January.
Yeah. And honestly, I think one of the reasons for that is just because of the convention center here. The expo center it's massive. It's beautiful. The staff here is amazing. The people are amazing. We have such good interactions here. So other places like where we may have rodeo floors where we have to fit in at, stuff like that. This is a place that even though it's a smaller city for us, our time here is always more than well spent.
And it sells well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people love dinosaurs out here, so we love them.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't remember what our first venue was before this when we came to Louisville, but I do remember
it was not this.
It was not this, and we went to a salad place called Vinaigrette, and I loved it. I was like, this place is awesome. So I don't know if it's still in existence or if I just made that up myself, but
we'll find out when
we'll find out.
So what is your favorite part of your job?
So my absolute favorite part of this job is, like, obviously there are amazing moments when kids are walking in, you see their jaws on the ground, or you hear, wow, look at that dinosaur. But my absolute favorite is seeing the parents' jaws on the floor as they're hearing their kids saying the correct name of these dinosaurs. And parents will sometimes even try, like, parents don't realize how much their kids take in. And so you'll hear parents say, like, well, I'm sure that's not that dinosaur. And I love chiming in and being like, no, they're absolutely correct.
Right.
They got you.
I feel similar. Like, these experiences with kids, like, their knowledge, it's like they impress me. Like and I've been doing this for so long, and it's still so shocking how much kids absorb. And it makes you really think. Like when I become a parent one day, I'm like, they're taking in everything. And also they can learn so much. And so like I think you can talk to kids and not reason with them, but like you can give them information and they can run with it. And so I think when you're coming here, I think it's a lesson to parents. Like, hey, your kids are receiving things, and maybe they'll go further if you kind of just let them
have an influence.
Yeah,
honestly, because the place that children store in their brain, like everyone knows that kids, as they're younger, they can learn different languages so much easier than adults. Dinosaurs, because of the different species and types and the names, they can learn it in the same exact area of their brain that they learn languages.
Also, they're kind of Latin names, too.
Exactly, yeah. So it's that same exact thing that triggers in their brain. They can recept so many more than we can as adults.
So has anything ever gone wrong at one of these shows, and how do you guys handle it?
Well, we're definitely like a rain or shine type of place. So I remember early on, like my second week, we had a blizzard in Tennessee. I was sewing up a dinosaur leg outside with no gloves, and I'm like, is this what we're supposed to do? And we opened, and people came. But so that wasn't something that went wrong, but there was times, we had a time in Novi, Michigan. Yeah,
a blizzard again.
A blizzard.
And
the trucks didn't come.
And they didn't make it in time.
So the dinosaurs weren't even there?
Some of them were. Yeah. But like
it was the electrical truck that didn't make it. So all our dinosaurs were up. We started taking shifts. Half the crew went to bed at and half of them woke up at 2 a.m. to get there. We had all the dinosaurs placed, but we had to plug in electrical, so we had to tear up every scene to plug them all in. We didn't want to send out emails because we were like, it's Novi, Michigan. They are going to come. We can't cancel it. Right. So we didn't put it off, and we waited, and I think it took 30 to 45 minutes after we were supposed to open, but we had everyone on our crew inside in the lobby with a baby dinosaur or with a walking raptor doing customer service. Yes, we will let y'all in. They're eating right now, but the dinosaurs are gonna see y'all.
That's a good excuse. I'm gonna use that next time. They're eating right now.
Yeah.
But also again on weather, I think that's like one of the biggest things that we've had. We have moments where like obviously not even to do with us, but like where our kitchens in our venues have like maybe they've had a little fire and we've had to evacuate people, but it's always the weather thing. Yeah. We had a hurricane one time when we were in Florida. We're finishing setting up for show, and our manager rounds us up and says, everybody tear everything down. There's a hurricane coming. We're leaving. And then it chased us to the next state, and we had to leave.
You totally canceled the whole thing?
We had to.
Oh, wow. And this also reminds me, and I hope this is not too dark, but like when we first started, it was one show, and then they decided to double, you know.
Now, what does that mean? One show versus double?
Yes.
The same thing in two different places?
Right now we have 3.
So we have 3 now. So this was the first time they're like, we're grown. We think we can
3 shows. With 3 completely different crews, 3 completely different
But it's the same show.
Sets.
Same show.
Okay. Same exact show.
So this is the first time it's growing. So it's like, okay. And that's when that's when I got promoted to show manager at that point. So I was 6 months in. And that's why it lines up. She was just starting.
My show manager. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at that time, every stop we went to had a catastrophe that was on the news. Yep. So it was like we were in Miami and they had the Miami shooting that week. Then we went to Texas. I think it was like a flood. There was like every week there was like this. With disaster, we're on the disaster tour.
Yeah, honestly,
you called it a disaster.
Yes, every terrible. Week, and we had the social injustice. In one city, it was like a cop got killed by this. No. So every city, there was something on the headlines that we were there for.
And then the lower small print is Jurassic Quest. Come to the
Well, honestly, that's kind of one of my favorite things about this job is the fact that we're able to kind of bring a whimsical light to things in areas where like it's been all bad for them. Yeah. It feels so heavy. So when even news anchors, when they come out to our show, we hear from them, we're so happy to be here. And we're like, we're happy you're here too. When do you get to talk about dinosaurs?
Right. We're happy it's a happy story.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've already told your Jurassic Park story, but How has Jurassic Park informed your love of dinosaurs? Do you have a Jurassic Park story?
So not necessarily Jurassic Park. My story is more around The Land Before Time.
Oh my goodness.
So my name is Sarah.
Yes,
So
Sarah!
obviously,
But not CERA like hers
not
was.
Sarah the CERA, thank goodness. And that's what I would tell everyone as a kid,
Yeah.
because everyone always tried to group me in with Sarah. But I hated Sarah because she was bossy.
She was.
She had such an attitude, and I was always
did.
like, I'm not like Sarah. And the older I get, the more I find I am more
If you
like
could see the
Sarah.
face that I'm
If you
making.
could see us now. But
Like,
that's why I
no.
loved them, honestly. And one of the really cool things I learned coming to Jurassic Quest, when I started, I grew up in the Bible Belt. Went to a private Christian school growing up. I didn't learn about dinosaurs once in my life. My experience growing up, I never learned about them. So coming to Jurassic Quest, when I came here, I didn't know if dinosaurs were real because all I had watched was Land Before Time, Jurassic Park. I never read about them. And finding out that like some of the dinosaur pals in Land Before Time lived in different time periods. And they were so far apart from each other, they never met. And they were in back-to-back time periods. And there's 3 time periods. It blew my mind and expanded it around dinosaurs in like an explosion kind of way, you know?
How has the Jurassic Park films informed attendance? Do you see like a spike?
I remember when the Jurassic World movie first premiered, it was a fantastic spike. And I think we were launching another show. Maybe our 3rd show was launching around that same time. And so it does influence, and we love it. I mean,
it
like,
upticks.
yeah, it's like we are fans of dinosaurs. Jurassic Quest, I mean, obviously we're here to promote our experiences because we think we are the most special. But like when other brands have people excited about dinosaurs, we love it. Like we want people to learn.
It informs people.
It does. So when the movies come out, there's definitely an uptick of people coming in because they're interested and they want more. The cool thing is when they had that notion of what dinosaurs are and they come here, they're like, we get to say, hey, a lot of these dinosaurs that you know that may be your favorite may look a lot different when you walk into these stores because again, we work with paleontologists, so that velociraptor that you love and it's so creepy, it's really the size of a turkey and covered with feathers.
Exactly.
You know? And so people are like, whoa. And I think that also intrigues and gets kids like asking questions and curious about science, about dinosaurs, about the whole nine.
It's a gateway.
It's a gateway
And that's
science.
Park Ranger Marty,
Park
his
Ranger.
favorite thing to say, he's one of our dinosaur trainers and dinosaur experts, is that dinosaurs are a gateway science. They bring you into so many different sciences. My experience with the Jurassic Park movies, I actually feel really bad. One time I accidentally crushed a little kid's dreams because his favorite dinosaur was Abdominus Rex, which is a fictional dinosaur. And so going off that last point Dustin made, it is such a good thing to see. It makes us so happy seeing an uptick in people coming. And not only because it's kids who are interested, kids are always interested. The parents get on board. And so parents are more interested. They want to learn more. But it brings an awareness to the conversation of dinosaurs and movies, which I think is huge, especially just in the climate nowadays. But to tell them, parents and kids alike, research. Don't take the word of a movie. It's a movie. There's a thing called artistic license. They can do whatever they want. And telling someone that and seeing their own eyes, I've said that so many times and seen people walking away Googling stuff on their phone. And it's one of my favorite things is the fact that it brings that awareness, but also it lights the fire of what else don't I know?
Exactly. And I think that's the gateway for parents. So like whatever political thing you're on or whatever belief system you're on, it's good to receive more information. Because before we thought a certain way about dinosaurs, right? Because we were limited on our findings. And we perceived dinosaurs to look a certain way or like to stand up a certain way. And then we learned more information about dinosaurs and science is like, hey, change it up. This is what they look like now. They have feathers. They're not lizards. They're related to birds and like so it's like when you have more information, you can do better. And I think it's good for people to just understand in general. More information you know, it's okay to pivot afterwards.
Even fun stuff like I love when people bring up the fact of dragons with us because the reason dragons are even like a conceptual thing is because they found a dinosaur. I think it was in Japan or Tokyo, I'm not sure, but they found a dinosaur. No one knew what dinosaurs were yet, so they thought it was a dragon. It wasn't until years later that the knowledge from continent to continent was connecting, and they realized what we have is not a dragon, it's a dinosaur. So that kind of stuff, it just comes with awareness, getting information out, and people connecting those dots on the information they find.
What is your favorite dinosaur?
Okay, so my favorite dinosaur historically has always been a Triceratops.
Well, of course.
Obviously, has to be. I have a tattoo of one, actually. I love dinosaurs. But recently, I've actually kind of differentiated it down to an itsy-bitsy tiny little dinosaur. It's called Ocelops.
I don't think I've heard of one of those.
Yeah, no one has. It's spelled Aquilopps. So it's really weird spelling too, and it's ancestor of Triceratops.
Oh.
And it's the size of a bunny. So it's itsy bitsy. It stands back on 2 feet with 2 little hands, and it has a little tiny beak and an itsy bitsy little frill.
Aww.
So it's the cutest little dinosaur that ever was.
It's like the grandma.
Yeah, exactly. It's so
Little
cute.
grandma.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Me, I go historically, I would always say Ankylosaurus, which is the dinosaur that looks like an armored tank and has a club tail.
Yes.
And if you watch, what's it called? Camp Cretaceous?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so good. Even
We
as
love
an adult,
kids shows and
Listen.
dinosaur stuff.
Well,
Anything.
you are around it a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say I'm not a kids show type. I do like a good kids movie, but we were watching and I was like, oh my gosh, it's thrilling. Like
And you
Camp
learn so much.
Cretaceous has had my jaw on the floor, like the cliffhangers. I'm like, go for it. Like, but they feature an Ankylosaurus that's really, really cute on that one. So that's probably my favorite dinosaur. And then I love the Velociraptor still.
Well, yeah.
And the more we learn about velociraptors, they're just so cool. Now we know that they were probably nocturnal because of their eye sockets and the way that their muscle and bone is in there. We know that it was able to be strong enough to see in the dark. So even though they are smaller, the size of turkeys rather than huge like in the movies, the fact that they came at you at night is a little scarier in my opinion.
No. Anytime they come at you, it doesn't
Terrifying.
have to be at night. It's still terrifying.
Turkeys are scary. I mean, what are we talking about here, guys?
Also that.
Also that. Okay, so in the dinosaur movies, is there any human character that you most identify with? Like you're like, oh, that's like me.
No.
No?
I would say yes.
For you or for me?
And for me. Yeah,
Okay,
not for you.
okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I love Jeff Goldblum. Incredible.
Yes.
His sarcasm and realism
It's
in the
great.
movies is great. And then I never remember her name, but the scientist that goes out with them also,
Laura
the female.
Dern's character?
Yeah, yes. She is amazing. I love the way that in the Jurassic Park movie, whenever she leans on the Triceratops stomach
Yes.
and just lets it, I feel like I do that a lot and just like to take in moments for just like how special that little moment is with the little things.
Right.
And I think that she really respects the science of them
Yes.
and also just like the moment she has with them, no matter if they're sick or what. So
I'm glad you asked that because I think it's been fulfilling to work here in my experience with, because for this is a podcast, I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm just want y'all to know. But like kids have come up to me, like especially like young African American kids, just like, I'm so happy. Can I take a picture with you?
Representation.
You represent someone who loves dinosaurs like me.
yeah.
And so I didn't see that in a movie where I'm like, I identify with this character. Not that race has to be the main identifier for you to connect, but I think it is important for kids to see because they do think more simply. So I love that I can be that for some kids out here.
I like that. Well, let's talk about your all's dinosaurs.
Okay.
So I know you can't give me proprietary, like, oh, this is
Yeah.
exactly how it works, but tell our audience what they can expect. Like, what are these dinosaurs?
Well, when you walk through our very front entrance, there's some pillars that say Jurassic Quest. They'll either have some flames
cool.
going, some
Yes.
dinosaurs hanging off them. And one of the main things you'll see that is important to every single show to make sure we always have is a massive dinosaur right behind the pillars. And that's because as soon as you come in, you are enraptured with this 25-foot tall dinosaur looking at you. On top of that, your first picture you take is right there behind the dinosaur.
That's right.
Or in front of them. But as you go through our scenes, we set them up in a way where, one, they're accurate. So you'll see dinosaurs with their correct time period, dinosaurs with them. You'll see them, maybe it looks like they're eating grass because their heads move up and down, their arms move, their tails wag. Some of them, their abdomen expands, their eyes blink, they're roaring. ring, and we set them up in positions. Like, we have one scene, it's my favorite actually, it's a little graphic, and we call it the bleeder scene. And the reason for that is because this is a realistic dinosaur show. So the scene is set up with a T-Rex over a Triceratops on the ground, and it's been bitten by them, and there's another Triceratops usually right behind it, and like sometimes a little baby right there, just showing that like this was the reality. They were helping to fin the one that got down. We have at our fossil table, sometimes we have fossils where you can see, and we've highlighted sometimes these cracks in the bones, and they're partially healed. Because if you couldn't get up and keep going, you'd die. So these massive breaks that as humans we wouldn't keep going with, we'd go to a doctor, get help with, but you see the miraculous ability of bones being able to regenerate, heal on a huge femur bone, because that's what they had to do. And that's a part of the realism, obviously, you'll see here.
And as you keep going through, you'll see, after you go through the exhibit, you'll start to see our activities. You'll see a sectioned off place where kids and families can learn to train our Utah Raptors. And so that's a really cool and fun experience. Every hour you'll hear someone call people over, and you'll see a big group of people just ready to like see this raptor and teach it tricks.
Is this the one that walks?
This is the one that walks.
One of those walked up to me when we were here, and I was like, I know you're not real, but I don't know you're not
real. It feels so, yes.
I was like, get thee away from me. Get thee away from me.
It feels real, and that's what's so cool about it.
Oh, it does.
So you'll see that, then you'll see bounce houses where kids can get out all that energy, that stored up energy. We have fossil digs to where they can be young paleontologists looking for fossils, and my nephew got on that, and he was that's all he wanted to do was just dig up all the fossils. And so many different things that are tied to the dinosaurs that is a fun experience for the family. And again, core memories being made.
Engaging.
So you would say this is for the family, right?
Yes, or the dinosaur enthusiasts.
Okay.
Because we don't just have kids who come in with their parents. We'll have entire groups of people who cosplay as Jurassic Park characters and come through. That's my favorite.
Brilliant idea.
But also just groups of adults who have never seen dinosaurs life size. They've gone to maybe a restaurant and seen a giant T-Rex, or they've gone to a museum and seen skeletons. But who has moving, realistic, with feathers, correct teeth placement, all those things. This is the one place that combines the fun and education of dinosaurs in an engaging way for a guest, no matter what age they are. And we have a brand new thing starring yours truly, Dino, Dustin, and Safari Sarah. But it's a virtual video tour as you go through. It's called...
I saw that on your YouTube. Is that what you guys started during the pandemic?
Exactly. So we actually had an outdoor model of the show. We were one of the first companies in the entire world to be able to pivot and turn into an outdoor experience.
Right.
And so because of that, we were like, man, it's good, but how do we make it immersive again? Because they're in their cars, they're tapped out of walking in.
It
and
reminded me
being
of the
involved.
scene in Jurassic Park, and here you're
exactly. Yes. Yeah. So what we did is we actually went in, we wrote stories for every scene. We wrote a story for ourselves to make it funny and engaging. You could pick a different story, so you could go on Safari Sarah's big day, or you could pick a different storyline to go on, and you hear it as you're going through. You hear the dinosaur roars, and it just made it immersive again. So here in our indoor model, moving back inside, we made a video tour. So now you can go through, and there's TV screens at every single scene explaining what dinosaurs you're seeing with jokes and all kinds of stuff too.
Because sometimes kids can't read the information, right? Or it's easier for them to be told the information. So it's fun that we get to be animated and be with our guests the whole time. So we're always there, even if we're not at the show.
Exactly.
So it's really cool. So you'll see that aspect. And then when you wrap up the experience, you'll go through our ancient oceans. And that's where you'll see ancient reptiles that were alive at the age of the dinosaurs. And so that will be usually that's the conclusion of the experience.
The
so
last exhibit you go through. So that's really cool. And I think it was really important for us, and this is something I do want to mention, because another part of Jurassic Quest is the immersive experience. We don't want people scanning QR codes everywhere and just staying on their phone walking through. Our whole point is to engage parents and kids. So kids can watch these videos, parents hear them talking. It's not a code they scan and they watch it on their phone. It's something the whole family can get around, kids can ask questions on, and parents can say, I don't know, let's go find a dinosaur expert. So it really brings that to the next level.
And our experience bleeds outside the show. And so we have things like Fossil Day or T-Rex Day online where we engage kids, read dinosaur books to them. Yeah. They can meet our baby dinosaurs again. And so we don't want it just to stop here. Yeah. You know, Jurassic Quest is really good about, like, how do we engage our guests beyond the experience, especially if people can't get to the show. They still want a little bit of Jurassic Quest, and we try to give it to them.
Yeah. So you can go, like, on JurassicQuest.com, you can find, we have coloring sheets, we have little videos, we have bios for all our dinosaurs and our trainers. You can even go, like he said, our Dino or Fossil Day, all those things, they're done on Zoom. So you can actually email us, and you can get on the waiting list, and anytime we have one of those, we'll email you. So you can make sure we have whole entire classrooms that sign on sometimes, and the whole day is Fossil Day for that class, and they just talk with us all day.
What a fun job.
Yeah, it is.
If somebody wanted to enter the same field as you all, what do they need to do, like education wise? How do they follow the same path?
Well, I would say just come to the show, because it is such a unique work experience. It doesn't usually work well when you're, like, say you wanted to be a manager or like a PR person here. Sure, there will be things that translate, but
it's such a hybrid animal.
Yeah, you have to. It really helps if you start from the ground up, so that you know all the aspects of the show. Yeah. So I would say come tour, and then see where it goes.
Yeah, because even touring, I'll say this, touring on your off days, especially if you're into the dinosaurs, you're actually trying to get more into the experience, because you can come tour and literally just stay at your hotel and then come to work and then go get groceries and then go to the hotel. But if you're trying to get something out of it for people who actually are interested in that, we go to museums. Usually people will schedule trips. Who wants to go to the museum with us? You find out there are jobs on the road that you never even heard of, because from your little town or your big town, they don't have that. Right. So the amount of times I've gone to a place and been like, that's a job? Like that's so amazing. Those kind of things are out there, and touring, like Dustin said, it just opens doors to so many things, especially if you don't have your sights narrowed in on something, but you just want to know how to get more into it. Just start. That's the first step. I could add a little thing to that just quickly. Sure. So our baby dinosaurs are unlike anything you will see anywhere else. They are specific to Jurassic Quest. You will not find another baby dinosaur that looks like ours, acts like ours, is presented like ours are. And my favorite interaction is with adults, because kids are completely enraptured and completely are pulled into the experience. Parents are pulling in and then resisting, and they're like, tell me what's inside. Tell me what's inside. Is there a dog in there? What is this baby dinosaur? So that's my absolute favorite thing. I've had someone try to punch my baby dinosaur because they were so scared. It wasn't because they hated it. They literally were so scared because it is such a lifelike baby dinosaur. So people are so scared of them, and then they realize that, like, oh, this is a nice dinosaur. We have jokes. We'll tell them, like Tyson, his favorite thing to eat is Tyson chicken fingers. So that's why we named him Tyson. Okay. So we tell them he eats chicken fingers, not human fingers. Like, there are ways that we kind of get people on board, but my favorite interaction is definitely parents.
So focusing on the entertainment aspect, as an entertainer who handles the dinosaurs or around them, and you interact with the guests, what are some specific strategies or guidelines that you use?
Well, we used to use this thing called the T-Rex rule, which is basically using 2 fingers, just like because a T-Rex has 2 fingers, only petting the babies with 2 fingers, because the whole thing is they're babies. So even though they look massive, because you don't usually see babies that fill up your whole entire arms, but they're something that people have never encountered. So sometimes they're scared, sometimes they're nervous, sometimes they're just so excited. Kids, they don't know how to control their energy. So we always instruct people to be gentle with them, respect them just like we respect their physical space and everything. But other than that, we honestly just always try to encourage people, have an open mind, and have fun.
So to kind of wrap it up, why should people come to Jurassic Quest, and where can they find out about other shows? Because I'm here in Louisville, but by the time this airs, the show will already be over. But that doesn't mean you've got places all throughout the year. So tell us about it.
I think it's like a show you've never seen. And we pride ourselves on what we do. We are the largest dinosaur show that operates like we do. And we really care. We really care. Our crew cares about the kids and the family experience. We know why we do it, you know, and I think it shows in our exhibit. I think it shows in the experience. And our baby dinosaurs are incredible. Like,
Yeah, they
it's
really are.
like one of the things that you'll never see. Like, people will try to duplicate, and it really doesn't come close. It really does not come close. So I think you'll just have a great time. You know, your kids will always remember the time you took them to see the dinosaurs.
I still remember the time I was chased by a velociraptor.
See?
Yep.
It's been years, and I was
Yeah.
like, that guy.
Exactly.
Right. And so we're in the business of making memories more than anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about what we do. And we get to see those memories play out in real time. And that's like no other job you ever see.
Just like you said, we are in Louisville right now, and as Dustin said earlier, we're here for training this week. My whole section, training people, is on customer interaction and engagement, and there's a whole area where we talk about how to do that, which is asking a family when the mom is taking a picture of the kids and the dad, do you want me to take that picture for you? Or like things like that really just bring people in and let them know they're cared about is one of the things that makes the job worth it for every single person on this tour. It's not, even if you don't, like for me, know if dinosaurs even existed, the first day on the job, being at arts and crafts, seeing a kid deciding what they wanted and a parent trying to make it easier for me and saying, well, let's pick blue, let's just pick blue and get out, and me saying, no, it's okay. They can take 5 minutes if they want to pick a color they want. Making the space for families to know your kid is safe and we're not rushing you. You have fun. We want this to be for you is so important to us. Obviously, people can go online to JurassicQuest.com. Not only will they find the tickets, where to find us, we have 3 touring shows. So usually we're in Canada, we're also in the US, and this is really big picture, but in the next 10 years, hopefully, we're planning to go across borders, you know? We want to expand because the experience that we have is something unlike any other dinosaur experience throughout the world, the way we bring in fun and education. But also on top of that, on JurassicQuest.com, like I said, you can find things like coloring sheets. You can find links. You can find books where you can learn more about dinosaurs. So coming to Jurassic Quest is incredible because not only does it bring you into the world of dinosaurs in a fun and educational way, it shows you how to keep it going after you leave, which is really important, obviously. And then one additional thing that we love, especially with the experience and how it's enhanced for people, whether you're adults, especially adults actually, is that we have a texting line. So during our show hours, you can text our friend Park Ranger Marty. He's a stand-up comedian, so he's really fun to talk to. And you can ask him any question you have about dinosaurs, about the show, about the experience by texting this Dino 411 number. And then on top of that, you can even connect with us online. For instance, I have my own Jurassic Quest Instagram. It's Safari Sarah JQ for Jurassic Quest. And then Dustin has one too.
Yeah, it's Dino Dustin JQ. And then you can find the whole show at Jurassic Quest.
On any social platform.
On any social platform. So I encourage everybody to come find us out there because we will be migrating with our herd of dinosaurs.
And dancing with them in the streets on TikTok.
That's right.
Well, thank you both so much for giving me your time. This has been so fun. I can't wait to walk in there and see the dinosaurs.
We've had so much fun. Yes.
Yeah, honestly, it's great. One last tip I'll just tell people, if you visit the dinosaurs, don't run from the dinosaurs because they do like fast food. So we try to tell people keep a slow pace.
I need to remember that because I was darting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So Ashley and I are in the Kentucky Exposition Center. We have just stepped outside of the actual exhibit, the Jurassic Quest event itself, and now we are here with Brian and Kirk, and we're going to just share a few of our thoughts, our reactions to the experience that we just had. And I'm going to ask, because I know that this is Ashley's thing. I know that this is kind of like her dream to be in this room with dinosaurs, which she's done before. But I'm going to ask you to react first, Ashley.
Well, I don't think you could get any better than what just happened. I just got a selfie with a dinosaur, and like you said, you don't think you've seen me that happy like ever, right?
True. Oh, yeah, she lit up. Literally, we were standing there watching this raptor show. I'll let her explain
It's
more
the one
about it.
it's the one that chased me before.
Yes.
It's the same thing that chased me before. So we had a little strained relationship from last time. I was a little afraid. But as it was coming at me this time, I said, hold your ground. And then I got to enjoy the moment because I wasn't startled like I was the first time.
True.
And it was so cool. It was the last time I had that much joy is when I rode a camel. And like I told you all, like once you ride a camel, you're chasing that high for the rest of your life. And this was pretty close. This was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, we were actually able to take a selfie with said raptor. Diego, yes. And I'm telling you, when you see the photo or the video, you might get to see both. But you're going to see Ashley is lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, literally glowing. And after he kind of snuggled up in there between us, he actually kind of moved back and then put his chin on her head. So
I know, it was a great moment.
Probably her profile picture for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's going up tonight.
But let's hear from Kirk and Brian as well. What's something that stood out to you guys in terms of going through the Jurassic Quest exhibit?
I'm impressed by the fact that in the interviews yesterday, I really enjoyed the fact that everybody is so excited. Even the trainer of the Raptor got out there and showed so much excitement. How many times do they do this show a day? How many times do they do this show a year? And seemed just as excited today. And saw every child at the gate and made sure that if that child wanted to pet that raptor got over there. We were at a fossil booth, and I just was looking at Ashley and referenced, oh, look at that row of teeth inside the row of teeth. And the park ranger who was there was watching everybody because noticed that I, under my breath, said that. And then he came over and explained why that row of teeth is there and the creatures that have that row of teeth and why they have it. And it was just very impressive how everybody was so responsive when there were thousands of people here and we didn't even come during the rush.
Right. And when you were talking about the excitement the trainer had, it's what we talk about in theater. Every show is somebody's first show. And they really exemplified that quality. It was our first time seeing it, and she treated it as if it was our first time seeing it. So every time she did it, it's somebody's first time seeing it.
Kirk, what's something that stood out to you?
I would say what stood out to me was there are so many different types of dinosaurs that I was not aware of. You know, you see the ones in the movies all the time, the common ones, the popular ones, the T-Rex, the Brontosaurus, the Triceratops, but there were so many other ones, and it seemed like they focused mostly on carnivorous dinosaurs. I guess those hold the most appeal, you know, the dangerous one, but so many with big teeth, and it went way beyond the T-Rex. And, you know, each time I'd walk up to one, it would be like, ooh, what if you came across that one? You know, you'd be in trouble. Or the next one, oh, you'd be in more trouble if you came across that one. So it was just fascinating to see all those different types and looking at the size of their claws and their teeth and, you know, how dangerous they were or would have been. And also, it was just so cool to see all the families, all the little kids just having such a great time here. You know, it made me think back to our kids when we took them places and how much fun that was. And it was just a great day, a great entertainment for families, and it was neat to be a part of it.
There was a lot of joy in that room. Mm-hmm. There really was, especially, I mean, in the Raptor training area, the kids' faces, they were just so excited and reaching out their hands and wanting to touch him. In the interview, they talked about a core memory, and you could see those core memories happening in front of you. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Piggybacking on what both of you guys have said, Brian and Ashley, that customer service aspect, I felt like they were trying to really think through all the different aspects of how can we make this special? How can we make this interactive? What might a young person really connect with, or how can we bring them in by offering a bouncy house, an opportunity to go look at fossils, to see hatching eggs. I mean, they just tried to think of every little different opportunity. Yeah. And then to piggyback on what you said, Kirk, it made me think of what was also shared in the interview. I so appreciate their attention to detail and the fact that they worked with paleontologists to make sure that they were well researched and accurate. And I loved when they said that, you know, from movies, we think of velociraptors as being these tall, terrifying creatures, and then to see the exhibit and to see this feathered, small dinosaur, it just brought to life how it's really interesting to know the truth about certain scientific things, I guess.
One other thing I want to add is when Candy shared with me the audio clip of the advertising this exhibit, it was talking about bring your grandkids. You know, seems like a place where only kids would come or have fun, but actually as adults it was very interesting. A lot of things for everybody to learn and enjoy. So I don't think we ever outgrow dinosaurs.
You can hear the joy now. So as we wrap up our experience, a huge thank you to Jurassic Quest for the complimentary tickets. They did give us complimentary tickets to all 4 of us to enjoy this experience today. And thank you to Safari Sarah and Dino Dustin for a absolutely joy-filled 45 minutes. I think it was a perfect setup for us to truly enjoy this experience because we got to see it through their eyes and see the intention and what this was created for, and it really amped up my enjoyment of it, as if I wasn't going to enjoy it already. And plus, this is coming out our birthday week, so it was like a pre-birthday present. That's how it was wonderful.
So obviously, we're going to say a big cheers to everyone involved with Jurassic Quest, from the handlers to the face of them, Safari Sarah and Dino Dustin. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
If you love what we do, please rate and review our show. Or you can become a supporter by making a donation through buymeacoffee.com/scandalwaterpod. Whether a single gift or a recurring monthly donation, it would go a long way towards supporting our work and allowing us to keep the tea brewing.
At our website, www.scandalwaterpodcast.com, you can submit questions or your own story ideas, access our sources and show notes, see the merch we offer for sale, and more. You can join the Scandal Water community through our Scandal Water Podcast Facebook page or follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Scandal Water Podcast.
This episode was executive produced by Candy Thomas, that's me, and Ashley Raymer Brown.
That's me.
It was researched and written by Candy Thomas and edited by Ashley Raymer Brown.
A special thank you to Josh Martin, who wrote, composed, and performed the Scandal Water theme and other music, Matt C. Adams, who created the artwork, and Joshua Reith, who designed our website and provides ongoing technical support.
As a reminder, this podcast is purely for entertainment purposes. The thoughts and opinions of the host during each episode of Scandal Water are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any future guests, advertisers, or clearly professional psychologists. Thanks for listening.